What's up guys? Today I wanted to showcase a deck that I've been having a lot of fun with and a decent amount of success with as well. You can see the deck listed at the top of the screen. It uses 3 illusory cleavers as well as an ordinary cleaver to completely distract your opponent. It has a ton of low cost minions to really take advantage of Volka's first trait, and it has the best puffs in order to maintain a really nasty cycle once you get it going. I have 3 games lined up to show you guys, and I'll try to narrate over each one to really emphasize what the game plan is and how the deck works. Alright, and we're going to be kicking off our first game with Blood Imps. We're definitely going to be looking to try to get both bridges and as much XP as we can right at the start of the game. Having so many low cost minions in this deck really makes it so that until you get that first trait, most of your minions don't really have that much value attached to them. So I'm going to make sure I can do whatever I can just to get on these lanes. I'm going to actually get rid of that whirly scrat just so I can put a mana puff underneath it and try to get the bridge back as quickly as possible. You can also use illusory cleavers like I'm going to do right there in order to get some quick AoE burst in and deal with some low health minions. And right here we're going to be able to get some damage in on the core with our cleaver. It's always fun to imagine on the opponent's side that he sees so many illusory ones that he might have a little bit of a heart attack when he sees the real one come out. And you can also see we can take advantage of Volka's first trait. We were able to kill that succubus with just a shock rock and playing a few minions. We're going to try to maintain both bridges as much as we can. We see a big guy coming in here, so we need to make sure that we have our Blood Imps ready. Blood Imps are going to be our main source of damage for anything that has really high health. It's a little bit risky, but it's kind of the risk that you have to play when you're running a deck that's really spammy like this. Now unfortunately he is going to get quite a bit of value in with his whirly scrat right here. Looking back, I know I should have probably just shock rocked, and I think that would have been enough damage to deal with him. But I thought that my only source of damage, the STI&T bike, would have died before I really got any value in. But we're gonna use Cleaver instead and go ahead and take care of it. He's gonna follow up with that lightning bolt, and we're gonna try to just get back and start maintaining the bridges so we can start developing our puffs again. There we go. We're going to be able to get our disruptor puffs going on. We're also going to try to get out a mana puff on top lane just to make sure that he's not going to be able to shock rock and just take out all of our puffs at once. Alright, and unfortunately that Prowler is going to take control of bottom lane, preventing us from getting value off of our first trait. I am going to do Scrap Pack right next to the hero to just ensure that I'm not going to be taking the double damage that Prowler does when he lands on either my hero or the cleaver that I use to take care of it afterwards. Now here I've missed a Shock Rock top lane, which kind of sucks because I would have maintained control of the top bridge at least for that 1 second longer, but it doesn't really matter since Burn the Bridges will take care of the succubus by itself. And here I'm starting to notice that I got a lot of Blood Imps going. He's getting pretty low. I'm thinking that, hey, I'm just going to start cycling through and spamming in just to get as much trickle damage as I can get off of the first trait. Because I believe that the second I can get anything through there, whether it be my cleaver or my Blood Imps, I should be able to win the game after one push. So there's my cleaver. Luckily I put it down right before he put down a Prowler. So I have an answer already set up for that Prowler. And there's going to be a puff in the way of the Prowler so the Prowler doesn't get the double damage. And I'm going to be here and I'm just going to start cycling the rest of my cards to start throwing out those fireballs, and we're going to have plenty of enough damage to win the game for the first match. Alright, let's go ahead and get into our second game. Right off the bat, I see my opponent is also running Volko, so I know he's going to be trying to maintain both bridges as much as I will. So I'm going to try to play each lane very cautiously early on. I want to make sure that I'm being reactive and not proactive, since I will be able to maintain a bridge or push longer if I counter him, and I'm not the one that gets countered. So I want to still make sure that I'm not wasting my mana, so I'll put up the Disruptor Puffs top lane in order to make sure that I'm not getting mana capped and try to get the bridge pretty quickly afterwards, but unfortunately he is going to put in that STI&T bike, which is going to take the bridge for him instead. I do want to make sure that I'm playing my Disruptor Puffs as often as possible in this type of matchup, I know he's probably going to be running a lot of low cost cards as well, and adding 2 additional mana to each 1 mana cost card is a lot more valuable than adding like 2 mana to an 8 cost card. I do want to get back the bridges, so I'm going to try to put the Blood Imps down to get the bridge, and then do Cleaver immediately after to take care of the Defenso Chopper. I kind of hoped that my Blood Imps were going to be further away from the Defenso Chopper, but unfortunately they were close enough where they turned around to start damaging him. And unfortunately, doing Blood Imps against Defenso Chopper does punish you quite heavily, so that was a little bit of a misplay. But we do have both bridges. We have a lot of value from our puffs getting cycled in right now. We're going to try to start spamming some stuff to deal with that succubus before it gets close to the bridge. But there is a little bit of randomness involved with that first trait, so we're just going to keep spamming. Fortunately, we got both the ST9 bike and that succubus down. We got a lot of development of our puffs, and I'm just looking at this. I'm thinking I'm going to be able to push this for the win. He's desperate enough to fireball our puffs, and so I know I can get a lot more spam value in and just start just taking away at his health. I'm going to hold back a little bit just in case that he plays anything like that. I might be able to spam all my cards and deal with it that way, but we don't really need to. We got the cleaver, we got both bridges. We're going to go ahead and spam everything here just to get those fireballs in on the core, and we're going to be able to win that game. Alright, let's get into the final game. This time we're going against Stormbringer. So I know my puffs are probably not going to get as much value, since if there's nothing in front of them, Stormbringer's basic attack is just going to instantly kill my bridges. So I want to make sure that I usually get a push going before I start developing the puffs. I still don't want to get mana cap, so I'm going to try to turn around that Grenadier bottom lane so that my ST9 bike can get a little bit more value in. It'll stop the push, and it's going to also take care of the Grenadier. Now here, as we've seen in a previous game, our main source of damage for anything that's big, like a living statue, is with our Blood Imps. Unfortunately, he is going to chain lightning them, so they're not going to fully take care of it by themselves, but that cleaver is going to take care of the rest of it. Now I see he has some Stun Lancers top lane. I don't really have any good answers to them right now, so I'm just going to throw in some Illusory Cleavers. Just get some free damage in while I cycle the Blood Imps, who are going to be able to do the rest of the job for me. Now you can see our cleaver is just ticking away at his health. It's not only getting us a ton of value with just the pure damage that he's doing, but you can also see that we can start developing our disruptor puffs and just our other puffs in order for us to keep pushing this advantage that we have. And he's going to try to save himself with that fireball, but he's already at such a low health pool that I'm going to be able to just spam any card I have right here and win the game off of Volka's first trait. And that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the matches, and I hope you'll have as much fun trying out the deck as I did. I'm still working on the format for these videos, so if you appreciated this one, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time.